So getting to it, we're just going to import, Pocket Swift. Now, for this, we're actually going to import our big integers because we are going to have to specify the gas. Okay. So we're going to import big int as well to satisfy that condition.
So gas like Ethereum gas, right? Because
correct. Yep. But for ION, it's called NRG and like NRG gas, or I'm sorry, just NRG for gas, and NRG price, which is like gas price for Ethereum as well. Yes.
Got
it. So to do the favorite thing that we've been doing for the whole entire tutorial, we're actually going to call or declare our 3 variables, Pocket ION, and actually what's new is the ION contract, because we have to initialize the contract inside of our SDK to make sure, or to actually tell the SDK that, hey, we will be communicating with this contract, so get ready.
All right.
So, scrolling down.
Yeah, right.
All right. So the first thing that we want to do is actually create a function that actually refreshes screen. So when after the user imported their wallet or created a wallet, we want their screen to refresh and pull all the data, actually read the data that's from that smart contract. So to do so, we're actually going to have to create the instance, which we just called in the ION contract. So to do so, we are going to call out ION contract. We're going to initialize it. So as you can already see, it takes 1, 2, 3 parameters, which is the ION network, address, and the ABI definition. So you could do this 2 ways, but just for the sake of consistencies, we're just going to call Pocket ION mastery for the network because our contract is on the mastery network. Okay. Address and our app configuration, if you recall, we're going to call our smart contract address, which is where it lives. ABI definition, which is the app config, and our ABI definition, which is the actual layout of the function that shows the functionality of the smart contract.
That was the JSON that we looked at earlier, right?
And next, we're going to actually initiate the constant function. So to understand what the constant function is, it allows us to actually read the data without actually changing the smart contract state. Since we're only reading and we're not actually changing any states of the smart contract, we're going to use the execute constant function that's provided inside the SDK, which now that it knows that, okay, cool, we're actually going to read the data from the smart contract, but you need to know the function name, parameters, like, all right, what do I need in order to read this data? Are we going to specify a from address? Are we going to specify the person essentially reading that data? Gas price, value, block tag. These are all the different parameters that it needs to actually execute successfully.
And this is all stuff defined in the ABI definition.
Yes. So as you can tell, in our smart contract, and even in the ABI, we have get total message count. Because what we're actually going to do is we're going to see how many messages are stored. Because what we're going to do is we're going to create a loop. As you can see, when you look at the code itself, we're going to loop through that data to pull to make sure that we're receiving all the right contents for it.
Got it.
And also make sure that there's no text messages missing out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So now that we actually have the index, we're actually going to get them by the index. So to do so, we are going to, 1 second. We're going to call another class, which is a constant class, because again, we're not changing the state of the smart contract. And we're actually going to call it, or we're going to call the getMessageByIndex. Now, essentially what this is doing is, in our smart contract, we actually bind the message to the sender. And then once we actually send the message, we'll actually see the parameters that it takes to actually execute, which is the string itself, as long as the address. So what the getMessageByIndex is doing is actually taking those two and mapping them together in the smart contract.
Got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And all this is doing is looping through it and actually pulling the data and saying, all right, whoever the last word of one address of 1234, he said all these things. 45678, he said all these things, or she said all these things. So that's how we're going to pull and retrieve the messages from it.